Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Google Classroom Amazing Mobile Features. This session is part of a series of free webinars offered every week or so by the Stark Portage Area Computer Consortium, or SPARC for short. SPARC is an information technology center up here in Northeast Ohio where we support about 30 school districts. However, this webinar is open to everyone, and we want to welcome all the people who have joined us live today, or if you're watching this recording in the future. My name is Eric Curts. I'll be your presenter for today. I'm a technology integration specialist here at SPARC. I also run the website Control-Alt-Achieve, where you can find all of my EdTech resources. And if you're a Twitter user, feel free to connect with me at Eric Curts. All of the resources for our webinar today can be found at tiny.cc/spark245. Now, if you're watching this live, you're probably already there, but if you're catching this in the future on YouTube, that is a link you can follow that will take you out to this web page here. Let me refresh that. There we go. And this web page will have the video, which will be the recorded video after this webinar is done. And below there, you'll see a couple of additional resources. There is a slideshow for this session. There is also a live chat document. And so we would encourage you during this session, if you've got a question to ask or a resource of your own to share or anything you would like to share with the rest of the folks, please click on that chat document and you can type in there, and I'll do my best to keep an eye on that document throughout the session and look for any comments or questions you guys would be sharing. In addition to that, there is an evaluation link below there. Afterwards, we'd love to get your feedback, help us improve these webinars. And don't forget, you can also get a certificate of attendance at the very bottom of that page. There's a link to a quiz that you can take afterwards, and that will generate a PDF certificate of attendance for 1 contact hour to turn in for professional development. Again, all the resources can be found at tiny.cc/spark245. Excellent. Well, let's go ahead and get into our webinar here today. This session is going to be covering Google Classroom with a focus on the mobile features of Google Classroom. So we're going to be taking a look at things like digital handwriting, taking pictures, recording videos, sharing content from other apps, and notifications. To be able to participate in this session, if you want to try out the stuff we're going to be taking a look at, you're going to want to have access to the Google Classroom mobile app. Now, if you don't have access right now, that's fine. Just follow along, but later on, to put this into practice, you'll want to have access to the mobile version of Google Classroom. We're going to talk a little bit about that here at the beginning, explain just what I mean by that. But basically, you would need an iOS device or an Android device or a modern Chromebook that can run Android apps. And again, we'll be diving into that here pretty quick. This session does assume that you've got some level of understanding of Classroom. This is not really an introductory session. We're going to be really just assuming that you've been using Classroom and now you're wanting to take your game up a notch. So if you aren't familiar with Classroom, there is a link on the resource page to an earlier webinar that we did here. I'll zoom in a bit to make that just a little bit bigger, easier to see on there. A while back, oh boy, I'm going to say almost 2 years ago, one of the early webinars we did was on an introduction to Classroom. And you can follow that link. And there's been obviously a lot of new things since then, but that would give you a nice, solid ground level intro if you have not used Classroom before. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get on into our session. So first thing first, this session is going to be focusing on the Classroom mobile app. And so your first question may be, well, why are we taking a look at the mobile app? And I do understand that question, because a lot of times when you think about a mobile app, you think of an app that maybe is a little bit watered down. You say, well, for example, take Google Docs or something like that. You're used to using Google Docs on the web, and it's got all of these awesome buttons and features and tools. And you say, well, if I pull up the Google Docs app on my phone, it's pretty nice, but it doesn't have all the features. And that's very normal. That's a common thing. A lot of times, the mobile apps that you're going to run on your phone or on your tablet, they don't have all the bells and whistles that the full version of the web app would have. And that typically is the case. Having said that, that gap is narrowing. Mobile apps are becoming much more powerful as phones and tablets become more powerful and as they develop these mobile apps more and more. So a lot of times there's not as much of a difference as there used to be. In some cases, though, mobile apps can sometimes have features that the regular version of the program doesn't have. And that is exactly the case with Classroom. Google Classroom is a fantastic web app. Love it. And I think most of us probably use Google Classroom on the web. But it does have, and it has had since day one, it's had a mobile app. When Classroom first launched years ago, right out of the gate, there was a mobile version for it as well. Well, over the years, the mobile version has picked up a lot of neat features, including some that are not actually found in the regular web-based version of Classroom. That's what we're going to be looking at today. Some of the neat things you can do if you're using Google Classroom on a mobile device. And like I said, those are going to include, and we'll get into each one of these in detail, but digital handwriting, taking pictures, recording videos, sharing content from other apps, and notifications. So having said that, you would need to, like we said, be able to run Classroom on a device that supports mobile apps. So for example, this could mean if you have an iPhone or an iPad, or if you've got an Android phone or an Android tablet, that would certainly be fine. So you can head over to the iTunes App Store, or you can go to the Google Play Store, and you can get the mobile version of Google Classroom. Now, this is true for students as well as teachers. Definitely something that I think students are a lot of times going to be happy to do because they function very well on their phones. And so maybe as a teacher, you feel more comfortable with the desktop version of Classroom. A student may feel very comfortable using the mobile version on their phone. So that would be one possibility, is just head over to the Google Play Store or head over to the iTunes App Store and get the mobile Classroom app. I do have the links in the slideshow that will take you right to those spots in those app stores. However, in addition to that, which is great. I mean, if you want to use it on your phone, that's fantastic. Use it on a tablet, that is great as well. However, you can also run Android apps on newer Chromebooks. This is something that is really exciting because it's opening up a lot of neat possibilities on a device that is typically a lot larger than a phone or a tablet, and that would be a more modern Chromebook. So let's just chat real brief about that. And so when I say a modern Chromebook, I did put a link in the slideshow that if you go ahead and give a click where it says you'll need a modern Chromebook that supports Android apps, that'll take you out to a web page where Google has detailed all of the Chromebooks that currently support Android apps or that they have planned to be receiving the ability to run Android apps. Again, if it's a newer Chromebook within the last year, chances are it's already running the Android apps. But at the same time, they're also trying to work backwards and trying to give that ability to earlier Chromebooks that did not have it in the past. So check here and see if the Chromebook you're running has the ability yet to run that, or if it's something that is coming down the line afterwards. Now, if you've got a Chromebook that supports Android apps, then the next question is whether you're using a personal account or whether you're using a school Google account. Just heads up, if you are using your school Google account, your Google Apps administrator will need to do a little tweaking on their end. We are not going to go through that in any detail here in the session, other than to say there's a link in the slideshow with all of the information your G Suite administrator needs. It talks about how they can go into the admin console and what they need to do to turn on the ability for Android apps to be used on your Chrome devices, and then how they can go and find the apps that they want to approve, how they can approve those and make those available to your users. Not a difficult process at all, but all the directions are there. Now, that's again if you're using your school account. If you're using a personal account, you can pretty much just go ahead and turn this on yourself. Now, again, I put a link to all the gory details for that. It's not much that you have to do. If if you are logging in with a personal Google account on a Chromebook, there is a link on this slide that will take you out to the directions for how to install Android apps on your Chromebook in that case. Really, it's pretty much just going into your settings and turning on the option to use the Play Store. That's about it. At that point, you can start installing and using the Android apps. All right. To show you what I mean by that, I have two Chromebooks that I've got in the Hangout here today. We're running this webinar as a Google Hangout. And so I do have two Chromebooks that are in the Hangout. And from time to time, I'm going to pop between those ones. So hopefully I will continue to click on the right screen. And if not, maybe let me know in the chat doc. Throw something in there if you're not. If I'm describing something and that's not what's on the screen, maybe let me know and then I'll try to fix it. But for example, let me jump over to let me pull up my student account here. So I'm going to jump over to this one and let me go ahead and I will present this. And let's see if we've got that. There we go. That should be hopefully presenting out to everybody now. So this is which one is this? This is an Acer. This is an Acer Chromebook, and I'm logged in with an account that I'm treating as a student account today. And what you'll notice is if I go down to open up my apps and go on down into my apps, there we go. Don't have a whole lot of apps on this one yet, but I just wanted to draw your attention to the fact that there's actually two different, well, maybe it's not this one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pull up the other one. Here is, you can actually see, here is the Classroom mobile app right there on the screen. But it must be, let me pull up my other one. Maybe that's where I've got my other one. Let me present that one. This is, here we go. This is my teacher device that I'm using here today. This is where I've got my teacher account logged into. And if I come in here and I take a look at all of the apps, yes, this is the one I wanted to show you. Notice how I've got two different classroom icons. There's a classroom icon here, and then two screens over, there's another classroom icon over here. Now, the important thing to realize is one of them is the Android version and one of them is the regular Chrome version, like what you would use if you're just using Classroom on the web. And the way you can tell, it's a little small, maybe a little hard to see, but notice here on this icon, there's a little circle with a Chrome icon on it. That is the Chromebook letting you know, hey, if you go and launch this version of Classroom, what it's going to do is it's actually going to open up the web version. So if I come here and I open this up, it is opening up the web version of Google Classroom, which is what we're used to using. On the other hand, if I come here and I head back to all my apps and I go over to this page, this Classroom is the Android version of it. And if I click on that, I'm now launching the Android mobile version of Google Classroom. So just want you to be aware of that on a Chromebook, a modern Chromebook, you can still run all of your normal web versions of things, but you can also install from the Google Play Store the mobile versions. All right. Well, hopefully that sort of sets the expectations for what we're going to be taking a look at here today. And I'll pop back over to my slideshow now. Excellent. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at what I said are going to be 5 benefits, 5 things that are special about using the mobile version. And again, I'm not saying switch over to the mobile. I'm honestly saying use them both. I think that's great. Use the desktop version of Classroom as much as you want, but every now and then, if you've got modern Chromebooks, if you've got tablets, if you've got a phone, and same for your students, definitely jump over to that version to take advantage of some of these other neat features that are not in the normal version of Classroom. All right, so first one first. First thing that you can do in the mobile version of Classroom that you can't do in the web version is digital handwriting. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, basically, one of the things that sometimes can be a challenge when using technology is we feel like we can't write naturally. I used to be a math teacher, and so I totally sympathize with that. You say, oh, yeah, I want to use technology more in my class, but it's hard to, put equations into a Google Doc, or it's hard to, write exponents, or if you need something that is more like creating diagrams or handwriting or, sketching things out, it's like, that's harder to do sometimes with technology. Well, one of the nice things about mobile devices is they're designed for touch input. Now, hopefully, if you've got a modern Chromebook, maybe you've purchased one that also is a touch screen. But even if it's not a touch screen, this will still work, because using the mobile version of Classroom, it's designed with the thought that you should be able to touch it. You can still use your mouse. That is certainly fine. But because of that, there is a feature in the mobile version of Classroom that allows you to actually write on top of Google Docs and PDFs, whether you're a teacher or a student. So basically, let's show you how it works, and then we'll run through a couple of examples of, well, how could this be used? What might people do with this in a classroom setting? So first of all, the way it works, and we'll just run through it real quick, then I'll demonstrate it, is in Google Classroom, what you're going to do is when you open up a Google Doc or a PDF, whether, again, you're a student or a teacher, if you look in the top right-hand corner, you'll notice there's a little pencil icon that's going to be there. And we'll see this in just a second when we do a demo of this. But if you click the little pencil icon when you've got a doc or a PDF open, what it will do is it actually opens up some special annotation tools. So at the bottom of the screen, there's going to be an eraser and a marker and a pen and a highlighter. And you can use these in different colors and different sizes to write right on top of the PDF or on top of the Google document, to annotate it or to write in there. When you're all done, there's a little icon, a little save icon, looks like a little floppy disk up here, a little save icon, and that will let you then save what you've done. Now, if it was a PDF, if you started with a PDF, it just updates the PDF. It just saves it in place of the old one. If it was a Google Doc, though, that you started with, it actually creates a PDF. Then you've still got the original Google Doc. It creates a PDF, and that PDF has all of the annotations in it. So let's try this out. Let's do a quick example here. So I'm going to pop back over to, let's go to my teacher device. So I'm going to pop over to my teacher device here. All right. All right, excellent. And so on the teacher device, what I'm going to do is pull up a class that I've set up for this session today called Mobile Features for Google Classroom. So here is the class that I have set up, and I've got a whole bunch of pre-made activities that we're going to be taking a look at here today. And one of them that we're going to take a look at is a biography report. So you'll see right here, I have a biography report where basically the instructions to the student is to write a report about a famous person from history. Okay, very simple. And so if I go into my student work, I just have one student in this class. It's just a simple little demo for here today. But if I go into my test student here, I'll see that he has written his Google document, and I'll go ahead and open up his Google document. And here is his famous person report on George Washington. Okay, excellent. So this is a Google Doc. Now, normally, if I opened up a Google Doc, I could certainly leave feedback on there. I could type in some comments in the margins. That would certainly be fine. But what we want to take a look at is, because I'm doing this on my mobile version of Classroom, look what's up here in the top right-hand corner. There's that little pencil icon that we talked about. And so what I can do is come up here, click on the little pencil icon, and when I do, what it does is it switches me into annotation mode. Now, if you look at the bottom of the screen, I have an eraser, I've got, looks like a pen, a marker, I've got a highlighter. So what I can do is I can come in here and choose a color that I'd like to use and a size that I'd like that to be. Okay. And if I want to, I can make this larger, just pinch and zoom, just regular old pinch and zoom. And I can find in here, maybe there's some misspellings. Okay. So I could come in now and I could simply, with a stylus or with my finger or the mouse is totally fine, I can start highlighting or circling right on the document. So if there was a misspelled word, or if I wanted to draw attention to something, I could, underline information on here, draw in some arrows if I needed to. And again, I don't have to use the same color the whole time. I could pop over to my highlighter instead if I want to use a highlighter, and I could highlight things on the document as well. The point is I can mark up right on top of my student's document. So this is a great way to provide more natural feedback to your students instead of, and again, there's nothing wrong at all with typing up comments. That is certainly fine. But to be able to open up their work and simply write on top of it with your finger or your mouse or a stylus is a really nice way to have more options for providing feedback to your students. It's kind of like sitting there on the couch with a stack of papers and a red pen. And so you're just doing it on your tablet or your phone or your Chromebook. Now, when I'm all done, I'll just go ahead and hit save in the top right-hand corner. And like we said, what it does is it creates a new copy of that document as a PDF. So you'll see there's now a PDF version as well as the Google Doc original version. And so when the student goes to, and of course now I can throw in the student's grade and return this to them. When they go to Classroom to open that up, they'll have their original document, but now they'll have a PDF version as well with all of my feedback, all of my annotations on top of that. So this is one way that we could use this would be as a teacher leaving feedback. But let's try some other ones besides just that as an example. So let's go back and let's see another assignment that I created here. So another assignment I did was a math assignment. I pushed out a PDF worksheet on solving two-step equations. So for this one, I'm going to pop over to being my student now. So let me come over here and I'll become the student instead. All right. So now here I am as the student, and I'm going to go ahead and launch Classroom. And I'm going to open up our class for today. And let's take a look. There we go. There is the assignment on two-step equations. So if I go ahead and, oh, by the way, let me go ahead and I'll return that biography assignment just so you can see what it looks like. I'll give him a grade and return that real quick, just so we do actually have that in there. There we go. And that way you can see what it looks like. So I'll pop over here and that biography report should be getting returned now. Let's see if that has been returned yet. Your work, and yep, there we go. So there is my original Google Doc, and right below it is the PDF that if I open up, I can see the annotations that my teacher made on it. Excellent. Well, let's try the other example, though, that we were talking about, which is math. So here we have a assignment that got pushed out on two-step equations. And so basically what it is in this case is it's starting out as a PDF. It doesn't have to be. Again, you could push out a Google Doc. That's totally fine. And students can write on top of the Google Doc just like I did a minute ago when I was grading that one. But in this case, it's a PDF. So if the student comes in here and clicks on this PDF, you will see it is a regular math PDF with equations. Now, this is where sometimes we hit that pain point where it's difficult using technology for the student to be able to easily fill out something like this. But notice if I look in the top right-hand corner, there's that little pencil icon I can click on, which switches me into annotation mode. So now as a student, I could come in and again, pick, the color that I want. Maybe I'll do blue. And now I can go right below here and I can say, okay, I want to solve for A. So I need to start by subtracting a 2 off of both sides. So poof, poof, the 2's cancel out. 6 minus 2 is 4. And that equals A over 4. Now I need to get rid of divided by 4. So I'll do the inverse, which is multiplying by 4 on both sides. Poof, poof, those disappear. And I end up with 16 equals A, or A equals 16. And so again, I can just write right on top of that document because I'm using the mobile version of Classroom. It makes it so much easier to do something that is more natural handwriting. And again, when I'm done, I just hit the save button in the top. And because that was a PDF, it's not actually going to create a new copy. It's just annotating that one. So if I open it right back up, you'll see that it's just saved my annotations right there inside of it. And I could hit the pencil icon and keep on annotating. I could just, don't have to do it all at once. You could just keep working on it over time, and it'll just keep resaving that document, that PDF, with your annotations as you go. All right. Let's try one more example on this, and then we will move on to another benefit of using the mobile version. All right, so the last one of this that I want to do as an example, I'm going to stay on my student for just a moment here. I've got another assignment here on first class levers. We've got a science assignment here. So let's open up this science assignment and see what it is that our teacher's asking. In this case, it says, explain your understanding of a first class lever. You may use any format you wish to explain that. Okay, so here is a classroom assignment with really nothing attached to it. So it's not a Google Doc. It's not a pre-made PDF. It's just an open-ended assignment. So we're telling the student, you pick how you want to show your learning. And again, that's great. I absolutely encourage people to consider things like that, you know, letting students find their method for how they want to show their understanding. Well, let's say I go over to my work. Here's my work tab, and there's nothing there. I mean, nothing's been pushed out. So it's really up to me as the student to decide how I want to show my learning. Well, one of the neat things about this handwriting annotation is you can use it even if there's not an original Google Doc or a PDF. If there's nothing in the assignment, because there is a spot where it says add attachment. So if you are using the mobile version of Google Classroom, and you go to the student goes to the Your Work section, right below there is an Add Attachment section. And if they click on Add Attachment, what it will do is allow them to attach things. So you could, grab a doc or a slideshow or a link or upload something from your hard drive. But notice what else is here. At the bottom of that Add Attachment list, it says New PDF. So a student can go to Add Attachment, go to the very bottom and click New PDF, and guess what it'll do? Yep, it'll make a blank new PDF for them. And now they can just have at it. So if I need to come in here and show a first class lever, I'd say, oh, okay, let's grab the black color here, and let's see, we'll put our lever here, and then maybe we'll put the fulcrum down here. So here's our fulcrum, and then maybe we'll switch to a different color here, and we'll say that over here is going to be our load that is on the lever, and then we'll switch to another color, and we'll say over here is going to be our effort pushing down. All right, and so the student, if that's how they prefer to show their understanding, fantastic. They can just write from the Google Classroom assignment, click on Add Attachment, choose Blank PDF, and have at it. They've got a blank PDF. They can write all over it, draw all over it, do whatever they need to. When they're done, they hit Save, and that's it. It's going to attach that right to the assignment, and now the teacher will have access to that. So if I go and turn this in, that would now be available for the teacher to pull up. We'll go ahead and turn it in. That's fine. And boom, there it goes. We are turning in that assignment. All right, very good. Well, let me head back over to our slideshow now. And again, I'm jumping between three devices, so holler at me if I show the wrong thing on the screen at some point. Hopefully, I'm clicking everything right here. All right, so as we said, handwriting, this is a feature that is available in the mobile version of Classroom. It's great for teachers to leave handwritten feedback. It's great for students to write out their math problems, draw diagrams, whatever they need to do for work. All right, well, let's move on to another neat thing you can do in the mobile version of Classroom, and that is taking pictures. Yeah, so most mobile devices have a camera built in. I think it probably would be unusual to find a phone or a tablet that doesn't have a camera, and Chromebooks also have to have cameras built into them as well. Of course, you can attach a webcam as well. That's totally fine. If the camera that you've got on the Chromebook doesn't give you enough flexibility, hard to point at what you want to point it at, you can attach a USB webcam as well. That is certainly fine. But one of the things that is neat about the mobile version of Classroom is that students and teachers are allowed to take pictures with that built-in camera and insert them right into Classroom. So if I'm a teacher and I'm doing an announcement or an assignment or a question, I can just add a picture right from my webcam. If I'm a student and I'm answering a assignment and taking a picture would be helpful, and we'll talk about why that might be the case. I can just snap a picture, boom, turn it right in with my assignment. Now, the way it works is basically you need to click the attachment button. So if I'm a teacher and I'm doing an assignment, it's going to look like a paperclip. We're pretty used to that. I think a lot of times you guys have seen the paperclip icon for attachment. If I'm a student, we would use that same add attachment link we just saw a moment ago. If I'm filling out an assignment, that exact same add attachment link would let me get to this. Now, the point is, whether you're a teacher or a student, once you click on the paperclip or the add attachment button, you'll get a menu. And one of the things in that menu is take photo. You'll have the ability to click on take photo, which at that point, it'll pop up a screen with your live camera. And there's a couple little things you can tweak. There's a grid button if you want to have a grid to keep everything centered. There's also a timer button if you want to set a timer. And then click, take the picture, and it goes ahead and takes the picture. And at that point, you can easily insert that into Classroom. Now, this could be used in a lot of useful ways. So for example, let's say you're having students again show their learning. And we're going back to the idea that not everything is going to be the same for every student. That's great to have an assignment where you let the student be creative with how they express their learning. Well, it could be that the way they're showing their learning isn't something that can just easily be turned in. Maybe they built something. Maybe they made a model. Maybe they built something out of Legos, or they sculpted something, or maybe it's a painting and they drew something, So it could be something that it's not easy to just turn in, but they could take a picture of it and submit that instead. Or maybe it's an activity you've done in class where you're saying, okay, guys, we're going to do a picture scavenger hunt. So again, go back to math, So, hey, guys, I want you to go through the school and find as many triangles as you can, or, pyramids or cylinders or whatever it is you're looking for. Or it could be maybe they're on a field trip. That could be the same thing as well. But it could be part of an assignment where the students are going out doing a scavenger hunt and using their phone, their tablet, their Chromebooks. They're taking pictures and turning those in. Now, that is what I did for our example that we're going to take a look at here. So let me go back over to my student Chromebook and let's present that to everyone. So I'm back over to my student Chromebook here. There it is. Excellent. And you'll notice that I've got an assignment here called Geometric Solids Scavenger Hunt. All right, and so the assignment that I pushed out to the student was simply find an example of a cylinder around the school, take a picture, and submit it. So now I'm using a Chromebook today, but they could be using their phones again. They could be using a tablet, anything that runs the mobile version. And if I go over to my work, you will see that there's nothing there. It's just, add attachment. And that's what we need to look for, is that add attachment link. Again, if you're a teacher, it's going to be a paperclip icon. As the student, it'll say add attachment. If I come in here and click on add attachment, looks just like we saw a moment ago. There's that new PDF option and all those other options we saw. But right there, smack dab in the middle, take photo. So let's try this out. Let's go ahead and hit take photo. And hey, there I am. Howdy, everybody. So hopefully this is coming again. We're going to be hopefully trying to jump between all these devices. Hopefully that's coming through okay for you and you guys can see that. But there you have the camera now popping up on my Chromebook. And if I go into my menu options, I do have a couple of options on the side here. There's the grid option if I want to turn on grids. There's also a timer. I can do 3 seconds, 10 seconds, or no timer at all. So the point is, what I would do now is I'd go around and take a picture. And in this case, we need to do a cylinder. That's what we're looking for. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I cannot function without Coke Zero. So I've got my ever-present Coke Zero here. Sometimes it's just hooked up as an IV drip in a bag beside me, but today I went with the can. So here is a cylinder. So I could use this and I could simply take a picture of this cylinder. And so we'll do that. We'll come here. I'll kind of get myself out of the way here so we just have the cylinder there. That's great. And I'll go ahead and click on the camera icon on the side here. And there it goes, to snap the picture. At that point, I can now hit the checkbox to say that I want to go ahead and accept that image. And it is now attaching that image to the assignment. Now, if I wanted to take another picture, that's fine. It doesn't have to be just one. I could, go back in, take another photo. Got a little Android guy there. He's got a couple of cylinders on him there. So we'll take a picture of him real quick as well. And we'll submit him, but you get the idea. Students could now be going around taking pictures, doing a scavenger hunt for their assignment. When they're all done, they just go ahead and hit turn in. And again, it is going to submit that to the teacher. Now, let me show you what that looks like for the teacher. So let me switch over to my teacher account again. So here is the teacher one. And we're still in the biography report. So let's head back to the main page here. There we go. And let's see. Oh, if we want to take a look at our first class levers, we will look at that while we're here. Remember, we had the first class lever PDF the student did. Let's see how that turned out for them. Here should be the PDF. And there it is. There is their first class lever. Nice job. Excellent. Let's go to the assignment we just did, though, which is geometric solids scavenger hunt. And if I come in here, here's my student work. And if I go into my student, there's his images, give a click on one of the pictures, and it'll open up for me. And there it is. And head back, and there's the other picture, and there it is as well. Excellent. Very good. Now, it should also, now we'll see if I can pop between enough of these screens here. Let me go back over to my regular presentation here for a moment. All right, so it should also, of course, be going into Google Drive. So don't forget that anytime that you have a Google Classroom, let me drag this over here, anytime you create something in Google Classroom, it gets created in Google Drive as well. So in Google Drive, you have a classroom folder. I'll zoom in so you can actually see that. That's a little small for you guys to see there. In Google Drive, you got a classroom folder, and inside of there are all of the different classes you teach. There's my mobile features class. And then here's all my assignments. Well, here's the geometric solids assignment that we just did. As students take pictures and submit those, what's going to happen is those are all going to start flowing into my Google Drive. So sure, I could just use Classroom, and I could open up in Classroom, and I could look at them in Classroom totally fine. But don't forget, they're all dumping into a folder here as well. So that means if I wanted to, I could come in here, click on these, and we could do a preview, which will bring up a preview of them with the little arrows on each side so that I can just start scrolling through. And so if I had a whole folder filled with, 25 students in the class, each taking a picture or so, we could now start scrolling through and seeing all of the different things they found on their scavenger hunt or on their field trip or whatever the case might be. Now, if you really want to get fancy, another fun thing you guys can do, if you haven't ever used this before, is there's a great extension created by Matt Miller and Alice Keeler, two great friends of mine, and that extension is Drive Slides. And if you click on the Drive Slides extension, what it does is it takes, see how fast that was? That was amazing. Again, it's called Drive Slides. I've got it installed up here as an extension. By having this folder open with all of my students' images in there that they submitted through Classroom, and just doing nothing more than clicking on the Drive Slides extension, what it did was it created a Google slideshow with each of those pictures put in there. Isn't that fantastic? So now I've got a Google slideshow that has all of the images that my students collected using the mobile version of Classroom as they ran around the school or went on their field trip or whatever it might be. And now I can share that slideshow. We can play that in class. We have all of that pulled together. So really slick, really, really nice. All right. So that's the idea of taking pictures with the mobile version of Classroom. Let's move on to recording video. Now it gets really fun. Okay, so the concept's the same. Nothing really different about the concept. Yep, you've got a webcam on your phone, your tablet, your Chromebook, and you can record video just like you can take pictures. So the instructions are pretty much the same. You're going to click the paperclip button, or you're going to click the add attachment link. It's going to pop up a screen where you can choose record video, just like we chose take photo. You can choose record video, and it'll let you record a video. And then once it's done recording, it'll play it back, and you can watch the video, make sure you're happy with it. And if so, you can go ahead and accept that, and it will insert it right into Classroom. Now, this really can open up some neat options for you. So let's say you're a teacher. What a great way to give a personal message to your students. So let's say you go to your stream and you create an announcement. A lot of times our announcements are, don't forget, we've got a test this Friday, or, whatever it might be. Why not make it a video announcement? Go ahead and create an announcement, click the paperclip link, and instead of just typing in an announcement, choose record video and give them a nice video message. Talk to the students, connect with them there, and have a nice, happy video message that they can all just play back and watch. Or maybe you're creating an assignment and you want to add some video directions with it, because not every student picks up information the same as others. Maybe some students would really benefit from not just reading directions, but having a little video attached where you explain what it is you want them to do for that particular project. Okay, so let's try that out. Let me go ahead and pop back over to my teacher device. And from my teacher device here, let's go ahead and again, I apologize if it's hard to hear me sometimes because I'm moving between a bunch of different devices here. So sometimes I'm turning my head to the side a bit. I'll try to make sure I don't turn too far over here. So let me go back to my stream. And let's say that I want to create a new assignment here. And let's see. Let's go ahead and hit my little plus button down here. And let's say we're going to create a new assignment. And for this assignment, we're going to call this one Fake News. And what we're going to do is we're going to have the students basically create fake news. So they're going to either write an article that is fake news, or they're going to take a picture and they're going to doctor it in such a way because a lot of times that's an important topic to discuss when it comes to media literacy, understanding how do you look for bias, how do you look for things that are inaccurate, and one way to do that would be have students create their own. So instead of me typing up all of these directions, now again, I could also of course type up the directions as well, but let's say maybe what I want to do is I want to add to this assignment a video that explains to the students what I want them to do. So again, under normal conditions, yeah, I would probably type out some directions as well, maybe include a rubric and all those kind of things with it. But just for today, to keep it simple, notice what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the top right-hand corner, and there's a little paper clip up there. Remember, as a teacher, you see the paper clip. As the student, it's going to be more of the add attachment button. But if I come up here and I click on the paper clip, I get all of my options for attaching. And one of those options you will see is record a video. So let me try that out. Let me go ahead and click on record video. And now we're coming from the other side. So you're getting me from all my different sides here today. We're on a different device on this one. And so what I'll do is I'll just hit the little camera button here on the side, and I'll just record a quick video for the students. Hey guys, for this assignment, we're going to be talking about fake news. It's really important to know what is accurate when you're reading an article or looking at a photograph online. And so your challenge is to create your own fake news. You may want to take a picture and then doctor it in such a way to make it different than what it really was. Or maybe you want to write up your own news report or make a video with you giving a news broadcast. Totally up to you as to how you do it. And then we're going to dissect what it is you create and see if we can figure out how can we tell that that is biased, or how can we tell that it's not accurate? So have fun with that. Looking forward to seeing what you guys create. And that's it. Simple as that. Now that video has been recorded. If I hit the play button, I could play it back. I'm just going to hit the check to accept that. And now what it's doing is attaching that video to my assignment. And again, this could be done as an announcement. It could be done as a question. It could be done as an assignment. Any place where I see that paperclip, I can click it and create a video and go ahead and attach that to that. So once that gets saved, it'll take it a moment to save that video. But once it gets saved, it's actually saving it to my drive. And then it's going to attach it to the assignment there. And I will go ahead and push that assignment out to my students. So we'll let that go ahead and save that in the background. And while it's doing that, let's pop back over to the slideshow and let's talk about what students, oh, and it's done. as soon as I clicked off, just so you know that I'm not line here. There it is. So it is attached. It is at the bottom there. There is the video. So I will go ahead and I will push this assignment out to the students, and says students can only view this file. Yes, I just want them to view the video. I do not want them to actually do anything with it. They're just viewing the video that I've attached. Excellent. Now let's pop back over to my presentation. Here we go. All right. And talk about how students could use this. And oh my gosh, the possibilities are amazing. There are so many neat things kids could do with the ability to record video using the mobile version of Classroom. Here's just a couple of ideas, and I'd love to hear what you guys think would be possibilities as well. One could be they could show how they solved a problem. Let them explain their way that they solve the math problem instead of just you seeing the final result on a piece of paper. Give them a couple questions and have them pull up their video option and explain what they did to solve the problem. You'll learn a whole lot more about what they were thinking when they went through those steps. Or maybe it's not math. Maybe they're just explaining their answer to a question, whatever the subject might be. Let them, instead of just writing an essay, let them explain what their opinion is on something or what their explanation is for a question you posed. Maybe it's foreign language and they're practicing fluency, or maybe it's just younger students who are needing to practice their fluency as well. So it could be either way. Great option. Let the students pull up the video recorder inside the mobile version of Classroom, record themselves, then you can play that back as many times as you need to hear how they're pronouncing their words. If it is younger students and maybe it's a student who's struggling with their speech, it's a great way then to be able to show that to somebody else who might be able to assist the student as well, or to show the parents how they've grown over time with their fluency. This could also be a great way for students to give us short speech. We want them to practice public speaking. Well, let them use this to record their speech in the comfort of their own home or room, or somewhere where they're not having to stand up in front of an entire class. And that might be a great way to start easing them into giving speeches. Or what about music? They need to play their instrument. They need to sing a solo for the upcoming choir concert. Fantastic. Push out an assignment through Classroom where they play their instrument, where they sing their solo, and then you can go through and again review those. So let's try that out. Let's go ahead and pop back over to being the student. So here we are back on our student. And let me pop back to our assignments. And we have a French fluency practice assignment. So for this assignment, what we have here is it says the instructions are to record in French. My name is whatever, and then what is your name? What's your name? So we're keeping this very, very simple. Obviously, in a regular assignment, you probably have a lot more for the students to say, but in this case, we're going to keep it really, really basic, real simple here. So if I go over to my work, again, I'm going to click Add Attachment. And just like we made a PDF, just like we took a photo, right in that same menu is the record video. I'll hit record video. And now, hey, we're seeing me from the other side now. We'll go ahead and I will hit the record button. And fair warning, it's been 30 years since I was in French class, so this isn't going to be very good. But we're going to try our best. Let's see how I do here. Je m'appelle Eric. Comment vous appelez-vous? All right, hopefully that was reasonably close to what I was supposed to say there. All right, so I'll hit the little checkbox to accept that. That is now attaching my video to that assignment. And as simple as that, I can turn that video in. The teacher can now pull those videos up, play them back, listen to them as many times as they need, and I'll hit the turn in button. And there we go. We are submitting that. Awesome. Very good. And by the way, I should mention, it probably goes without saying, but it's worth just taking a quick pause to mention, even though I'm pretty much living in the mobile version for this training we're doing here today, keep in mind that this can blend between the two. So let's say the student is using their phone and they're using the mobile version to record a video. You do not have to obviously be on the mobile version yourself to view it. So like if I'm but now I'm back on my Windows computer. So this is my Windows computer. If I were to head over to Google Classroom, and if I were to pull up our class for today, mobile features, there it is. Everything that we've been doing, it's all here, you know. So if I come in here and say, oh, French fluency practice, let's see, let's go into our student work, and here's our test student. Now, I don't know how quickly it may still be rendering the video here, but oh, wow, that was quick. So I could come in here and hit play, and there it is. Now I've got the volume turned down, but there I can play it right back. So again, don't feel that you have to be using the mobile version yourself as well. You can use the regular desktop version of Classroom to, you know, grade all of this work, to open up their PDFs with their first class levers, and to open up all their pictures and all of that stuff. But, you know, we're taking advantage of phones and tablets and modern Chromebooks for the recording. All right. We've got two more to look at, and these are short. We will fit these in real quick. These are much shorter than the others, so we're good on time here. So our third, or that was our third, so our fourth unique thing that you can do with the mobile version of Classroom is connect that to other mobile apps and get content from them. So here's the idea. When you're on a computer, sometimes it's hard to move content from one program to another, but mobile devices, they tend to do that a lot better. You probably know what I mean. If you take a picture on your phone and you click the share button, like 20 things pop up for where you can share it. You know, you can send it as a message, you know, you can post it on Twitter, you can put it on Facebook, you can put it on Instagram. That's the beauty of mobile devices, is they're integrated. You do something in one app, you can send it over to the other app. Same thing is true for Classroom. If you're using Google Classroom and you're using the mobile version, you can use other mobile apps on your phone, on your tablet, on your modern Chromebook. And with those other mobile apps, you can create things. And there's a lot of nifty mobile apps out there. There's, you know, things like Snapseed, which is one we're going to take a look at, which lets you do photo editing. There's the mobile version of Google Keep, which lets you do a lot of neat annotations. There's things like Explain Everything, where you can make instructional videos, on down the line. Again, loads and loads and loads of great mobile apps that are out there that allow you to be very creative. Another cool one's called Motion Stills. I don't know if you've heard of that one. That's one that lets you record a video and it creates GIFs out of them real quick. So again, lots of neat mobile apps out there. Well, the idea is if you've got a mobile app that you make a video with, or you take a picture, or you make an animation, or you draw a doodle, whatever you create with that mobile app, check and see. You might be able to send it to Classroom. Now, I'm not guaranteeing everyone does that. Obviously, not every mobile app can do that, but a lot of mobile apps will be able to. Now, what are you going to click? Again, it depends. You're going to have to kind of look for it. It might be the word send. It might be share. It might be an icon for sharing. It's just going to depend on the app. But once you've created something and you click on whatever that app's send option is, hopefully one of the things that'll pop up is Classroom. That'll be one of the things you're allowed to send that item to. And once you choose Classroom, what it'll typically do then is it'll pop up and say, okay, well, what do you want to do with it? Now, if I'm a student, it'll say, do you want to take this thing and make a new post with it, or do you want to attach it to an open assignment? If I'm a teacher, it'll say, do you want to make a new announcement? Do you want to make a new assignment? Do you want to make a new question? It'll ask me how I want to push that thing out. Okay. So again, this could be a fun way to get content that's creative into Google Classroom from another app. Let's try it out. Let's go over to my student device and let's try that out. So remember, just a few minutes ago, we did an assignment called Fake News, where the student is supposed to create some sort of fake news that they are going to then submit. They're making a video, they're making a doctored picture, they're writing a news report. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up an app on here called Snapseed. You heard me mention that a moment ago. Snapseed. This is a Google app. And what Snapseed does is it lets you apply like tons of filters and effects and stuff to images. So I went out and found a picture of a news image just a little bit ago. And I've already saved it to the local memory on the Chromebook. And here it is. And this is a picture from our own Cleveland Indians. How about that? Setting the record for most consecutive wins. Everybody's completely excited about that. So here I have my picture of the Cleveland Indians here, and we're going to go ahead and open up that image. Whoops, there it is. Get that opened up. And now with that opened up there, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and apply some of these different filters that I can to this image here. And so in Snapseed, I can go in and there's all sorts of different things I can do to edit here. Oh, let's go ahead and we'll pull up a couple over here. Let's see, we have, for example, vintage. So maybe if I want to make this look like it's, you know, again, fake news, I could say this is a picture from the 1920s of, you know, the Indians, you know, setting a record back then. So I could come in and say, I want to apply maybe a vintage filter. And if I come down through here, I could find some different filters and apply a vintage filter on there. Let's see what else we have here. Probably black and white would be a good idea as well. We'll throw that on there. We'll apply black and white. Let me see what other filters we have here that might look good. I don't know if the grunge filter. Oh, the grunge filter. Now that's looking really good. So you get the idea is I could keep adjusting this until it looks like an old photograph. And again, the idea would be this would be one way for a student to be creative. And now that I'm all done doing all of that, what I could do is go up into my menu here in Snapseed. And nope, it's down here on the side. Sorry about that. There's a little download button on the side. That's my share. And again, it's going to look different on every app. And this one is a little download button. And it brings up an option to save, export, or share. Perfect. Let's click on share. And now it says, where do you want to share it to? Well, Classroom is one of the options. I'll choose Classroom. And it'll say, well, where do you want to share it in Classroom? Do you want to make a new post? Nope. I want to attach it to an assignment. Which assignment do you want to attach it to? The fake news assignment. And there we go. It's now attaching the thing I created in the other app. It's attaching it to my assignment. And once that's attached, I can hit turn in. And there we go. I'm now submitting that. Awesome. All right. Just a few minutes. Let's finish up our final neat thing. All right. So head on back over to our slideshow. The final thing I was going to mention is notifications. So we all know that students are not as interested in email as adults typically are. And Google Classroom does have a way to get notifications through email. That's the normal way. If you're using Google Classroom on the web, so if I'm here on the web, if I go to my settings up in the top and I go way, way down to my settings here, I can say, do I want to get email notifications? And I can choose how I want to get those notifications. Okay, well, that's great. Well, as cool as email notifications are, again, like we said, not something that students are maybe as quick to check. I mean, we kind of have to as adults. It's part of our job. You know, we're getting emails from our principal or the superintendent or our colleagues or parents, and students may not think about it as much. So one of the really neat things about having your students install the mobile version of Classroom on their phone, on their tablet, on their Chromebooks, is there's another option for notifications. There still is email. They can still get email notifications. That's totally fine. But they can also get vibration and sound notifications, which is probably what they're more used to getting. So the idea is we'll go to the menu button and we'll go down to settings. And if you're using the mobile version, you can still do email notifications. They're still there. They haven't gone anywhere. But you can also turn on device notifications for vibration and sound. And if you turn those on, your phone will vibrate or make a noise when you get new notifications, which would be like, for example, if there's an assignment that the teacher pushes out, buzz, buzz, the students will know that. When you grade an assignment, buzz, buzz, they will know it's been graded. When there's a due date coming up, it'll let them know, buzz, buzz, something is due in the next couple of days. And so that can be another great feature of using the mobile app. All right, guys. Whew. All right, so hopefully that gave you guys a bunch of ideas for why you might want to consider including the mobile version of Google Classroom into your normal workflow. There's an awful lot of neat things you can do with it. So like we said, we have things like digital handwriting, taking pictures, recording videos, sending content from other apps, getting your vibration notifications and your sound notifications. And again, we're not saying to not use the desktop version of Classroom. Absolutely, please use that as well. But don't think that the mobile version is a watered down version. In this case, it's not. It actually gives you so many other options, especially for your students, whether it's their phone, their tablet, or a more modern Chromebook. Now, in the future, if you need to get to any of these resources again, all of the stuff can be found at tiny.cc/spark245. That's where this video will be found, as well as the slideshow that goes along with it. As we mentioned before, please don't forget that below there's also a session evaluation where you can fill out and give us some feedback. Always helps us to improve these webinars. And hey, get some credit for this. There's a quiz you can take that will, quick 5-question quiz to prove you watched the webinar, and that will generate a PDF certificate of attendance for you that you can turn in for LPDC. I'm taking a quick peek over at our comment document, our Q&A document. Don't see anything in there, so I think we're in good shape, it looks like. Questions have all been answered that needed to. So I just want to thank you guys again so very much for taking an hour out of your day to learn some more about using Google Classroom, in this case, the mobile version. Thank you again so much for watching this session. I hope to see you again over the coming months for more educational technology webinars. Take care.